I should be good.
Yeah, you're good.
Everything should be good.
Alrighty.
Okay, hold on. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever, wherever, however you're watching this episode of the Wartime Podcast. We stream it live on Twitch, post it on YouTube, other social media platforms. And before I say anything else, I want to say rest in peace to an 18-year-old senior at Cleveland High School named Kimber Mills. Um, I know family that knows her personally. I have family that goes to that school. A very tragic event, but I want to tie this into my word of the day, and that is Ephesians 4, verse 32. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ, God, forgave you. Um, no matter how tragic the situation, everything happens for a reason. Um, Find love and forgiveness in your brothers and sisters that do right and do wrong. Uh, Whether you know them, whether you don't know them, find somewhere in your heart to pray for the next person, whether they're on the right side or the wrong side. At the end of the day, um, everybody is to be forgiven because God forgave all of us. Um, so just make sure that you keep your loved ones close. You never know when it's your last day. Um, just try to be joyful, try to love one another, and don't carry that stuff into tomorrow. If somebody says something to you or does something to you, you just gotta forgive and move on, no matter how big or small. Um, and take that for what you will. But with that being said, we're gonna get straight into this week's episode of the podcast. Um, Alabama's on a bye week, so I assume we can kind of open up with them. And Garrett, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. Alabama won versus South Carolina this weekend. They won 29-22. Um, Man, it was a game. A little bit nerve-wracking. Alabama did leave those South Carolina students in shambles after a 25-yard Jeremy Bernard touchdown run. Those students for sure thought that they were about to storm the field on Saturday. Alabama clearly had some other plans. Lenore Sellers had a 10-yard touchdown run with 10 minutes left to go in the ball game. Alabama then went on a 14-play, 79-yard drive that took 7 minutes and 44 seconds off the clock. Um, to then be down by two. They did excellent play call by Ryan Grubb to get the 2-point conversion. Direct snap to Daniel Hill, who then tossed it to Ty, who then completed a pass to Josh Cuevas, our tight end. Very well designed play, cool, calm, composed in the moment. They took off so much time on that drive. What's up?
For, Forgive me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the direct snap to Jeremy Bernard?
I think it was Daniel Hill. I think it was the running
Okay,
back, but I could
okay.
be wrong.
Hey, I believe you.
It's
I
either one.
believe you. I
Yeah.
believe you.
Um, but well designed play. They took off so much time on that drive. I was starting to get worried that should Alabama not get the 2-point conversion, they wouldn't be able to. They would never touch the ball again, because they only left South Carolina 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the game. But they came up clutch and got the 2-point conversion. And of course, we all know 2 plays into South Carolina's drive, Dante Lawson forced a key fumble to then give Alabama the football, and the rest is history. Um, this was an interesting game. Yeah, you just had a feeling this was going to be a classic trap game. Alabama kind of stumbling in after playing 4 hard weeks in a row to a South Carolina team whose season was on the line. This was their game of the year. This was the game that was going to define their season if they could get this win. Um, but I think it says a lot about Alabama to stay composed, to find a way to win. Interesting thing I saw is this kind of, this is Alabama's third one possession win this season. And if you want to include the Vandy game, who it was a one possession up until Alabama kind of ran up the score on them there at the end. So it'd be four if they didn't do that. It's kind of a trait of Kalen DeBoer teams. If you go back to Kalen DeBoer's national championship or national champion runner-up team in Washington, out of the 14 games leading up to the national championship, 8 of them were one-score games, and then another 2 of them were within 10. So I don't know if that's a knock on Kalen DeBoer. I don't know if it says to his late game management, find a way to come out with it. I don't know, but they find a way to win close games under Kalen DeBoer. I guess my biggest takeaway, honestly, from this is a game that last year Alabama would have lost. They 100% would have found a way to lose that game last year. But this Alabama team, they found a way. And people they're gonna come in and hate. They're gonna say, "Oh, this just says Alabama's overrated. The SEC's overrated. Yada yada yada." I think this is a huge win for Alabama. It had to happen. You hate that it's a close game and that it really, you know, was about that far away from possibly going a different direction. But it says a lot about this Alabama team. They've been tested. They've proven that they can find weird ways to win football games. Um, Ultimately, I'm just happy we got out of there with a win. That gave me a heart attack. But we're making it into the bye week. Kalen DeBoer has been really good out of a bye week, so I'm looking forward to playing. Then we'll be playing LSU. LSU's first game after firing Brian Kelly. So it'll be interesting. Be a night game at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Uh, I imagine I'm not too excited for that game anymore. Uh, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I will tell you this: I hate them boys in crimson. I hate them. Just when I thought I could get an afternoon W by watching the Crimson Tide lose, they come out and find a way to win the ball game. The first thing that I wrote down about this football game was Jeremy Bernard, dog. Didn't
Yeah.
do anything crazy. Um, but three carries for 23 yards and 5 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown for each. So one rushing touchdown, one receiving touchdown. That's about 77 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. Um, Ryan Williams obviously got the big name, but Jeremy Bernard multiple times this season has come through when the team has needed him most. Playmaker, finds a way to get it done, and he just is. He is what he is. I think he's a very underrated wide receiver, probably the most. I don't want to say underrated in the SEC, most underrated in the SEC, but he's definitely in that conversation, in my opinion. I just don't hear his name get brought up enough outside of Bama fans. But I also got to give credit to the man drawing the plays for Jeremy Bernard, and you can say all you want about what happened last year. You can say all you want about Kalen DeBoer's struggles with Jalen Milroe. Ryan Grubb essentially just saved Alabama's season right there. Not their entire season. I don't know if it would have been completely over. Obviously, it's the SEC. They would have found a way, but who knows if they go to the SEC championship. And then if you got multiple one-loss teams in the SEC, if you got 4 one-loss teams at the end of the year in the SEC, and Bama sitting there with 2, I don't think they get into the playoffs. So I think right there, Ryan Grubb potentially saved Bama's season. And man, he has his moments where it looks questionable, where he's like, what are you doing? But who doesn't? That fourth quarter, that 14 play drive you talked about, and the game winning drive after the forced fumble, it's just kind of, I hate to say it was almost perfect. I mean, and here's where it just, you got that dog in him. The touchdown pass to Jeremy Bernard out of the backfield, That was an amazing concept. Something that we've seen before from this Bama team throughout this year. It is a play design I've kind of caught on to, but the trick play to Ty Simpson to then fake it to, was it Ryan Williams, to then pass it to Cuevas.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful play call. But here's what I don't think is getting talked about enough. That 2-point conversion play call set up the game-winning touchdown. It was the exact same look. It was the exact same end around. It looked like it was about to be the exact same play. And then all of a sudden, Jeremy Bernard's cutting it upfield for the touchdown. Look, I'm an Auburn fan before anything. But the reason I'm happy we do this podcast, I love football. And watching that play out, it's just crazy. Like, that's a chess game in itself right there, and it's so fun. It's so exciting to see when you got a top 5 team on the ropes in your home stadium. You think you got them. All of a sudden, your Superman star player fumbles. Then all of a sudden, this same look that just tied the ball game, you think is going to be something similar. No. It's going to be a touchdown run to Jeremy Bernard. Beautiful play calling from Ryan Grubb there at the end. Like I said, I potentially saved Alabama season. Like I said, you have multiple one-loss teams come to the end of the SEC, and you might not get in. And one more major note I had, and this is gonna be like kind of like crazy, but you got to hear me out. Ty Simpson is the best Alabama quarterback since, in my opinion, Jalen Hurts. And this goes beyond talent. I think Bryce Young is more talented. I thought Tua Tagovailoa was more talented. But when you talk about locker room leaders, when you talk about guys who have bad games and still have a voice and is still ready to get the team hype, ready to go, Ty Simpson is up there. And that, to me, that is part of the thing that makes you an elite player. Jalen Hurts wasn't polished. He wasn't perfect at Bama. But at the end of the day, no matter what happened, he was a vocal leader. He still is to this day. And Ty Simpson, when he's having a terrible game, had multiple missed open passes, multiple opportunities to come back in the game, to kind of swing momentum. He didn't let that get to him. At the end of the game, when it was time to step up, he became a vocal leader. He said, guys, my bad, but I got us. He said, my bad, but we still Alabama. But we still going to find a way to win a ball game because you're Jeremy Bernard, you're Ryan Williams, I'm Ty Simpson. We're going to get out here, we're going to get it done. And that's exactly what they did. And so I see that, and it just, like I said, I'm not saying talent-wise, but when it comes to leadership from a quarterback position, I think this is the best Alabama's had since Jalen Hurts. And to me, that's what the quarterback should be doing. You're the number one guy on the offense. You're the voice. Don't be scared to take charge. And so from Ty Simpson, he did exactly that. I expect none the less from him. It's one of the reasons I've said multiple times on the show I'm scared of him. Just an elite quarterback. Heisman front runner should be. I don't have much more to say. Unfortunate win. Wish I would have seen some Gamecocks come out and pull out a W, but unfortunately for me, that's not how it went. And like you said, I think this was the most important game left on the Alabama schedule. I think there's obviously the most important is always the next game, but when you look at traps, at keeping your playoff hopes alive, this was one of those ones, and we said this last week. Obviously, I was muted, But we said this last week. This was the most important game for Kalen DeBoer so far. Because you just beat all of these good, excellent teams that are ranked top 15, top 20, top 25. Can you do it against somebody that isn't ranked, but is still a competent, good football team? And he came out rough start. They were asleep for 2.5 quarters. But finally, them boys kind of woke up, got to moving, and they find a way to win the ball game. And like you said, this goes back to Kellen DeBoer's days at Washington. He just finds a way to get it done in one-score games, and I think that's what elites do. This isn't a show about the NFL, but you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who's in a lot of one-score games. You look at a guy like Josh Allen, who's in a lot of one-score games, and they just find a way to get it done. I think that's more so like don't play all of your cards, but don't like just let them, do what they want to do type deal. Um, kind of taking control of the game without, going crazy. I don't necessarily agree with it, but he's proven to have success. I'm a fan / podcaster. He's a head coach for a reason. So yeah, that's all I have about the South Carolina game, and we'll look forward towards the LSU game next week. But unfortunately for you, you don't get no Bama this week.
No, but hey, we need a break. I'm looking forward to that bye. One thing I'd like to say about Todd Simpson, he really didn't play good, um, but he showed up when it matters. Alabama's drive chart was punt, fumble, touchdown, turnover on downs, punt, touchdown, game over. Struggling all game, back-to-back touchdown drives to end the game.
That's
One of
crazy.
them was in very good field position where the dude, DQ
Purposefully,
Smith is his name, who just
yeah,
put his hands up and let Jeremy Bernard score. We can discuss whether that was the right decision. Hindsight's always 2020.
right.
Probably should have tried to make a play because it didn't work out for him. But either way, I don't think South Carolina was going to win that football game at that point in time. Um, yeah, I've referred to this defense as a bend don't break defense, and they keep like that is the best way to describe this defense. Bend, don't break. You think you can look back to the Georgia game. Georgia just running. Man, it felt like Georgia should have scored about 35 on us. 21. They scored 21. Look at Vandy. 2 red zone takeaways. Look at Tennessee. Got the pick 6 on the 1-yard line. Look at this game. Found a way to show up when it matters. Get the fumble when it mattered. Uh, so I don't know what they're feeding this defense when it comes time to come up with a stop in the red zone or something, or on a big drive, but it's working. So we need to keep on doing it. I know that. One thing I saw Kellen DeBoer say is he said about this team is they're going to keep going as long as they keep that mindset. We are great in critical moments. That's something that you could not say about Alabama last year. This year, they are great in those critical moments. They have been all season outside of game 1. But ever since then, in those moments that really matters, that you say this moment, you can't win a football game with one play. But man, if there's a 1 or 2 plays that need to be had if you're going to win a football game, Alabama seems to be on the winning end of those plays more times than not this season. Um, One last thing, talking about Jeremy Bernard, dude, he is as valuable to this team as anyone else. Just his on-field play, but also his off-field leadership. They call him Unc because he's just the old man on the team who's mature, wise. I mean, this dude went from scoring the game-winning touchdown the other day to beat South Carolina on the road to the very next night hosting a worship in Bryant-Denny Stadium. All right, that's a leader right there. I mean, you look at all the guys who were there. You had Todd Simpson there. You had a bunch of guys on the team there because they gravitate towards that kind of leadership. So Jeremy Bernard, he's quiet. He's not going to get a lot of attention. He's not Todd Simpson out here sounding like Nick Saban, but Jeremy Bernard is incredibly important to this team, both on-field play, but also how he handles himself, how he leads the team. He's a great dude, great football player. And he should be getting more conversation because he is as important to this team as almost anyone else on any team in the entire country. I firmly believe that. Him and Ty Simpson make this team go. There's those two dudes. So yeah, really love seeing that from Germ. Yeah, he's a guy that followed Kalen DeBoer from Washington, so he is a Kalen DeBoer product through and through. So yeah, I mean, I love this team. It's fun watching them play. I'm not gonna lie, it got a little boring there, seeing Alabama beat everybody by 5 touchdowns and whatnot. So at least this time they are giving us something to keep watching the games for. That's not an issue anymore, for better or for worse. But I love this team. I think this is just adding to their resume and competitive characteristics and finding ways to win football games. And that's a straw in our hat that we can use down the road. Maybe in a national championship game when we're kind of in a tough situation. We're probably going to be more tested than whoever else is there, just based off what we've been through in the regular season. But I'm excited for the rest of this year. Thank God we have a bye week. Never been so happy to see a bye week come in my life. So looking forward to getting some rest over the bye week, get some guys back. And then, with Kalen Boer's really good coming off a bye. So hopefully we beat up on LSU pretty good.
Yeah, Alabama did just survive an insane gauntlet. I can't
Yeah.
even deny it is definitely an insane gauntlet. But they somehow made it through. I hate it. I'm mad about it. Um, but yeah, they're tested. They look good. They look ready to face whoever. Um, and they're going to be 100% healthy for the last few games of the year going into the probable SEC championship, going into the playoffs. And here I am talking about Alabama football, and Auburn doesn't even get a bowl game in a few
I mean, they
months.
could. They could.
Birmingham Bowl.
So, what is it? 4-3 right now.
Yeah, they're
What's
four
y'all's
and
record?
three. They'll get it. They'll get a
Okay.
bowl. They'll get
I
a
was about to
bowl.
say, as long as y'all gotta beat Kentucky, but y'all, yeah, you'll get a bowl win.
We should get a bowl. But
Y'all gonna be in the Birmingham Bowl.
Birmingham Bowl. Yeah, I might go. Who knows? Might just go. Watch
I
us
went
go
to the
6 and
Birmingham Bowl
7.
last year when it was Vandy, Georgia Tech, and it was a great time. I'd want to go again, even if it was Auburn. Be
Hey,
fun.
hey, maybe live stream at the Birmingham Bowl, the most
Live,
important
yeah,
bowl there
Birmingham Bowl
is.
podcast.
Most important bowl that there is.
hmm
Um,
Super Bowl is bigger than the Super Bowl.
yeah, for sure. If Auburn's
Yes.
playing, for sure. I don't care who we play. Just make sure Auburn's there. I don't have anything left on the Bama game unless you do.
No, man, just proud of these guys for finding a way to win. This episode could have gone a lot different, but shout out my boys, pulling through when it matters. Also, Jalen Mbakwe, stop running down the line of a punt. Move out of the way. Daggum. I love Jalen, man, but dude, move. You have one job, man. It's nothing good is ever gonna come from running down the line of a punt with your back turned to the football. It's gonna hit you every now and then. Would hit him, and I don't care that the defender was pushing him into the ball. Whatever. Move. You should have never been there in the first place. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Hey, they made it. They survived. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, but with that being said, gonna get into the Auburn side of things. We're gonna go over the Auburn Arkansas game, and I'm gonna get into the positive. I'm always negative. We won a game. Let me start with the positive. And with the positive, I'm gonna start with the fun facts. Your fun fact is Alex McPherson is one of 3 Auburn Tigers to make 6 field goals in a single game. And the other 2 is Daniel Carlson in an 18-13 win in LSU in 2016. I remember that game because he literally had the 6 field goals, and that was the only offense we had. I remember that game. It sucked. But shout out Daniel Carlson. And the other was Al Del Greco in an 18-3 win over the Kentucky Wildcats in 1982. So the only other 2 times that we've done it, those 6 field goals were the only points we scored offensively. And you know what? I know what the scoreboard said at the end of the game, but it almost felt very similar to those were the only points we scored. But shout out Alex McPherson, battling all the things that he goes through, has a rough week against Missouri. And just for a second, there's a guy named Dave Portnoy over Barstool Sports. And
Wow.
after McPherson missed a kick against Mizzou, he gave glory to God. And Dave Portnoy said, "Stop acting like you made the field goal. Stop celebrating. Stop doing all this. Get off the field." Thank you, Alec McPherson, for continuing to do that. I hate that negative energy, and McPherson said it. You give glory to God, highs, lows, no matter what. Whether you make the field goal, miss the field goal, you got to give glory to God. So whatever Dave Portnoy had to say was wrong. I didn't like it. Made me a little upset. But then Alec McPherson came back, made all 6 of his field goals, didn't miss a single one, and gave all glory to God on every single one. So let's see what Dave Portnoy had to say about that. I bet a whole bunch of nothing.
Nothing. That
Um,
dude.
Other good that happened in this game: 4 total turnovers on that elite Arkansas offense. And guess when they all came? In the fourth quarter. 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone. And part of that is Arkansas throwing the game away. I don't want to, just say Auburn is the absolute best. But when it came time to stand up and win a football game, 2 players stood out above the rest. And that's Rayshawn Pleasant and Xavier Atkins. Rayshawn Pleasant had um, two interceptions to end the game. One was a pick six, so a very crucial pick. Um, who knows where the game is without a pick six? Because, whew, Lord knows the offense wasn't going to score a touchdown. Um, Very crucial for him. And Xavier Atkins with a forced fumble, and 13 tackles. I think that was his career high. And while we're here on Xavier Atkins talking about the good news, I got some stats for you. And this is SEC stats. This isn't in the nation, but this is the SEC. Xavier Atkins in the SEC is first in tackles for loss. He's tied second for sacks, and he's tied second in total tackles. Guy came from LSU, didn't get much play time over there. Came over to Auburn. DJ Durkin said, "You're a stout, short linebacker that can speed end to end on the field. Yeah, we'll take you." And he has absolutely utilized every part of Xavier Atkins' game. This dude is a dog. He's a baller. You got guys like Kieron Crawford, Keldrick Falk. You got this amazing D line. And then, you got questions on, okay, well, outside of the D line, who's going to make that play? And over the course of the year, Xavier Atkins has made his name more and more known to the Auburn fan base, to the football fan base, to the SEC commentators. This guy is an absolute dog. I think he's our biggest weapon outside of our edge rushers. And I love him. With all this Hugh Freeze controversy going on, I do have faith in the defensive side staying intact because these are DJ's guys. And I don't think DJ's going anywhere anytime soon unless I just don't know what's going on. If we let DJ go, I'm going to be highly upset. But these are DJ's guys. And it makes me happy, it makes me confident to know that these guys play for DJ Durkin and they're ready to play every single Saturday. You said it. I'm ready to admit it. This is an elite defensive group. I think it might be top 3 in the SEC. Might be. So that's the good. That's the good. I'm very happy. Very happy we got a way to win. Alex McPherson had an amazing day, 6 for 6. Xavier Atkins, Rayshawn Pleasant, dogs on the defensive end to help us win the game. Now let's talk about the bad. Opening drive, go down, score a touchdown. Amazing grab by Cam Coleman, by the way. Freak. He's just a freak, dude. Cam Coleman is Auburn's Julio Jones. He won't be Auburn's Julio Jones next year, I don't think. But as of right now, he's Auburn's Julio Jones. And it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's amazing. Now, this goes for two people. Right, you tell me. Garrett, I'm going to ask you, okay? I'm going to ask you what you would do in this situation. Right, you get the ball, and you're driving down the field. First down, run. Second down, run. First down. First down, run. Second down, run. First down. First down, run. Get a first down on that. So you 13 run plays, right? All the way down into the 20-yard line. Now all the way down into the red zone. You haven't called a single pass play. What do you think you should do next, Garrett? They haven't been able to stop you yet. What do you think you should do next? Just what would you do?
Personally, I'd run the football.
That's what I would do too. But instead, people had other plans.
Who's people?
There's two people. Their names are Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold.
Nice. I love those two people.
It begins with Hugh Freeze. Look, I'm going to start with Hugh Freeze. You can say what you want about Jackson Arnold's decision making, right? But why give the guy an opportunity to pass the ball? Why call an RPO when you have been dominating all the way down the field? Why even give him the opportunity? And that's my question. Okay, and this stems over from last year. There were a lot of times you blamed it on your quarterback for passing instead of running the ball in an RPO set. So why a year later do you continue to give these guys the opportunity to even pass it in the first place? That would be my question. I don't understand it. I really don't. Now, if it's the 50-yard line and you see the boxes closing in, you want to take a play action deep shot, by all means, go ahead. That's different. But you've dominated all the way down into the red zone. You're in the red zone. The field is shorter. You have nowhere to throw the ball. That is where it is hardest to throw the ball, in the red zone. So you wait all the way down there to call an RPO. Like I said, don't even give him the opportunity. And then Jackson Arnold, you know your job is on the line. You know how Hugh Freeze has been talking the last 2 weeks, that if you make the wrong mistake, do the wrong thing, you weren't quick enough, you aren't fast enough, that you're getting pulled. And you take that RPO, and you wait 2 seconds too long. If you throw that ball maybe 2 seconds sooner, it's probably a completion. Do I think you should have thrown it in the first place? No, I personally don't think so. I don't care what the box looks like. They haven't been able to stop it yet. And Arkansas has the worst defense in the SEC, so what tells you that they are going to be able to stop it? That play turns into a pick six, 70, 80-yard pick six, and all momentum seems to go back to Arkansas. Like I said, Jackson Arnold's job was on the line. He got benched. Ashton Daniels come in, makes a few good plays, hits a deep bomb to Eric Singleton. It was a little underthrown, but I can't say Jackson Arnold would have thrown it any better. He did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. He got in, didn't try to do too much. He didn't really throw the ball that much. It was a few checkdowns besides that deep bomb. I don't have any memorable plays from Ashton Daniels that I was like, oh my God. this guy's like, he's going to send us on the next level. What I did like about Ashton Daniels, where there were a few quarterback design runs, and he looked like a running back. Like he's reading the line moving. He's reading his blockers as if he's a running back. He's being patient. He's not getting out in front of his blockers. He's not trying to do too much. He's following his blockers, kind of reading the holes. So that was fun to watch, I guess. And we'll see more from Ashton Daniels. My biggest concern is, well, I have a lot of concerns. My biggest concern about Ashton Daniels is, in a very similar situation last year, we benched Peyton Thorne. Hank Brown comes in against UNLV, a not good team, and dominates. And then we go against, I think it was Arkansas, and he throws 4 picks in the first half. 3 picks, something like that. So now you have a guy, Ashton Daniels, who's going to Kentucky, who's going to be playing Kentucky at Jordan-Hare, a not so good team, and then has to go face Vandy. That is my concern. It's a very scary, similar situation. The media is going to get hype about it. They're going to see, look at what he did against this terrible dog water team. Look at what Ashton Daniels did against this nobody. It's Kentucky. Against the worst team in the SEC. Look at what he did. And then he's going to go into Vandy and potentially throw 3 picks. I don't want to say this is what I'm hoping for, but my prediction is Jackson Arnold hasn't taken his last snap as the Auburn starting quarterback. I just don't think Ashton Daniels is gonna be any better. I think honestly it might limit the offense even more because I think he's a pure runner, whereas Jackson Arnold may be able to throw the ball every once in a while. But we will see. Obviously, you want to see what he can do against Kentucky. Today in the Monday presser, Hugh Freeze didn't really clear it up on who the starter was. He said it's going to be a competition. They're going to split reps, and we'll see as the week goes on. My prediction is Ashton Daniels. You don't take out Jackson Arnold for that second half unless you're prepared to start Ashton Daniels for a week. And if you're going to do it, I would do it against Kentucky, at least.
Yeah.
If you're going to try it out against the worst team in the SEC, at least. So I assume he's going to be the starter. I just don't think he wants to say it publicly. We'll see. My other biggest concern is against the worst defense in the SEC, against the absolute worst defense. A defense that is allowing over 35 points per game. You scored 1 offensive touchdown. As an offensive guru, you scored 1 offensive touchdown. And that came on the first drive of the game. And it's tiring. It's sickening. It's hard. But we got the win. Hugh Freeze is going to get credited with that win. We both predicted that Hugh Freeze would probably be gone after this week. If Auburn had lost. Obviously, Auburn had won. Obviously, Auburn won. As long as Auburn beats Kentucky, I think Hugh Freeze has his job for the rest of the year. If they somehow manage to lose Kentucky, we might not have an episode. I'll tell you that. If we lose to Kentucky, I think he's gone. Especially if it's a night game at Auburn. It's a night game at Auburn. If you lose to Kentucky, pack your bags, bud. They're gonna be catching videos of him like he's Brian Kelly at 5:30 in the morning, putting boxes in his car. But we'll see what Ashton Daniels has this coming week. My main concern with Ashton Daniels is last year as a starter at Stanford, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns, and that's very concerning considering we're in a turnover prone style offense. We're in a much more difficult conference um, with a lot more pressure. And that does bring concern to me. Maybe Ashton Daniels can prove me wrong. And I'm not saying Ashton Daniels is terrible. I'm not trying to say that at all. Um, I just don't know if he's going to elevate the offense any more than it's already elevated. I don't think he's a needle mover. I don't think he's this big blockbuster piece that's going to fix all of our problems. But that will be seen. Um, Kentucky, and if it goes well against Kentucky, I assume we'll see it. Really, the first half against Vandy will be my biggest question if he does well against Kentucky. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm just full of these Auburn rants. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Better days are maybe coming. Maybe. Hopefully.
did I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Look, Auburn found a way to win. And they deserved to win. They were the better team. They played better all around. Not taking anything away. A big issue for Auburn. Auburn still sucked on third down. They were 3 of 12 on third down. Now, credit them to be able to put up 33 points while going 3 of 12 on third downs by, kicking field goals, one offensive touchdown, so forth, whatnot. But 3 of 12 on third down. Third down has been an issue for them all year, and they still sucked on third down. Um, if you go 3 of 12 on third down versus Vandy or Alabama, you're going to lose both those games. Just how it's going to be. I'm not gonna say a whole lot about the Arkansas Auburn game. I did pick Arkansas, so I took the L on that one. But um, to kind of look ahead at this next game, this is really a get right spot for Auburn. I mean, even though they just won, like this is where they can really actually like look good. For once, like they can look good. They can make you Auburn fans have a good weekend next weekend. Actually have fun watching an Auburn game. They can move the ball on offense. They can get stops on defense like they've been all year. Because like we said, I believe this is an elite defense. Really good defense. With a good defensive coordinator, with good players on the defense side of football. Um, this is their chance. Yeah, if Auburn loses, I'm telling you, Hugh Freeze might be the first ever coach to get fired before he gets off the field if they lose to Kentucky.
I
Uh,
wouldn't I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm
Not at
telling
all.
you, Jimmy Rain and Jim Cohen are gonna meet him at the tunnel and say, "You see the sky through the end of the tunnel? Don't even stop in the locker room. Just keep walking until somebody picks you up and takes you home. We'll drop your stuff off at your house." Auburn's not gonna lose to Kentucky. Uh, it's not impossible. But honestly, out of all the SEC games this week, this is the one I'm most confident in, which it shouldn't be because it's Auburn, but this is the one I'm most confident in. Kentucky has had back-to-back weeks at home, close games, relative. The Texas game was close. Tennessee game wasn't quite as close, but it they scored like 34 in Tennessee. So, um, yeah, I think Kentucky's gonna be coming in a little tired, a little exhausted, feeling like they missed their opportunity to get an SEC win. And yeah, Auburn's gonna beat up on them, and they're gonna look really good. And then Auburn's gonna get Vandy, and they're gonna get their brains stomped in by Vandy because Vandy's legit. Vandy's a good team. I mean no disrespect towards Auburn. Vandy's a good football team. But Vandy's probably gonna whoop up on them, and then I imagine. Yeah, I'd agree. I think Hugh Freeze keeps his job until the end. If they do fire him during the season, it could come after that Vandy game because then they have a bye week and then a cupcake. That's kind of what teams like to do, fire their coaches right before a bye week. Then you got the cupcake on the other side to get more comfortable with whoever your interim is going to be, which I have no idea who that would be at this time. Probably one of the position coaches, like everybody else does.
You
Hey, don't look
you
surprised.
you know who the interim would be.
they don't really make those coordinators the interims. They just kind of let them stay the interim.
DJ Durkin would be the interim. I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now. Head coach
I
experience and like the leader of this team.
I would think they just say you just keep doing what you're doing on the defense side of the football. We'll have somebody else be the step in head coach just so you can focus on defense and not have to be focused on everything else. All these coach firings, none of them are putting offensive or defensive coordinators in as the interim. Florida has their wide receiver coach. LSU has their tight ends coach. Forget who Penn State has, but it's like the linebacker coach or something. So it's no nobody's doing that. They're just letting the coordinators stay their jobs.
This kind of goes into one of the last points I had. I think this is the reason I think Hugh Freeze should have been fired after the Missouri game. I think DJ Durkin would be the interim, and I think he would be the interim for a reason. I think this would be DJ Durkin's trial run as the Auburn head coach, and that's my personal belief. I have nothing to back that up, obviously, but a guy with previous head coaching experience, granted it was at Maryland, granted I think he went like 5-15, but a lot more resources, a lot more money, a lot bigger name. You know, if you just get the right OC, who knows where you go. And I was more so thinking they would make DJ Durkin an interim head coach just to see what he could do for the rest of the year as a quote unquote head coach. And that was kind of my thing. That's kind of the reason I was hoping that Hugh Freeze would get fired after Missouri. Because granted, yes, he had a 5-15 record at Maryland. I wouldn't mind trying it out. It can't be much
Yeah.
worse than what I'm witnessing right now.
At least somebody else be calling plays.
Exactly. And so I think as a guy like DJ Durkin, who I want to keep DJ Durkin at all costs. I don't care what it takes, keep him. I think he's the second highest paid coordinator in all of college football. Um, so we're doing what it takes. But like I said, I that's what I felt like is they should have fired Hugh Freeze to see what um, DJ could do, and that's why I think he would be the interim if they do fire him.
Yeah. I don't I think Hugh Freeze is gonna make it out the rest of the year.
I do too.
That would honestly, if I were an Auburn fan, that'd be my biggest concern. You're ready for Hugh Freeze to go, but does the new guy come in and bring in his own DC and DJ Durkin go? That would just suck. That would suck. I promise you, like they're not going to bring in somebody who I think is better than DJ Durkin. So
I think it's just the style of coach. If we go get an offensive minded coach, which I 1,000% believe
yeah,
that they will,
probably
I
will.
don't think they will mess with DJ Durkin. And if they
Yeah.
do, they're an absolute idiot and they already don't
They're
deserve the job. Get
stupid.
him out of there.
They're stupid.
Get him out of there.
Yeah,
If you're an offensive guy and you mess with DJ Durkin, who's proven to be elite in multiple spots, if you mess with that, you're a bonehead, and you need to get out of
yeah.
Auburn
I think that's something
immediately.
that needs to kind of be a requirement when you hire somebody. Like, hey, you need to keep this guy around. He's legit, one of the best DCs in the country. I mean, worst case scenario for Auburn, you fire Hugh Freeze. The coaching carousel is crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get crazier. So who do you end up with? And what if that person gets rid of Durkin? I don't think you're gonna get somebody better than him. You very well could lose a guy like Cam Coleman. Very well could lose a guy like Perry Thompson. These young guys, well, next year they won't be young. They can enter the draft after next season. But I mean, these are guys that are staples of this program and can really help whoever comes in next year. And if like those guys leave for whatever reason, I mean, I don't want to say starting from scratch, but at that point, everything Hugh Freeze did to make the program better, at least talent wise, because the talent was depleted when he got there, and it is much better now. I'll give him that credit. He hasn't done jack with it, but there is more talent there. Um, if all that goes, I mean, you're not starting over, but you're pretty close to it, depending on who you bring in. And so that could really be hurting the next guy who comes in. That'd be my only concern if I were an Auburn fan, but I'm not, so I hope it happens.
Well, that
Um,
that is a concern
yeah.
of mine.
Um, but what must be done eventually must be done now. It should have happened after Missouri. You're not keeping him. He's gone. And if you do, you're stupid. You're stupid for keeping him. He's not taking you anywhere. He's not taking you to Atlanta. He's not taking you to the playoffs. He's not. Got to get rid of him. Just should have done it. Should have done it when they had the chance. Because knowing y'all's luck, he's going to go beat Kentucky, beat Vandy, beat Mercer, beat Bama, and then you know what y'all are going to be stuck with? Hugh Freeze next year. Because dadgummit, he's an 8-win coach. And he ain't never going to get 8 wins again. And y'all still going to have him. And then y'all going to sign him to a contract extension. And then y'all going to owe him like $50 million instead of 15.
Instead of
Should have
15.
fired him after Missouri. Because he's not going to get the job done. But, whatever.
I
Hey,
just I just got a
that
question.
I'll let them do them.
I just
Yeah.
got a question for you, Garrett.
hmm
Off the top of your head, how many SEC championship wins, or how many SEC championship appearances does Hugh Freeze have as the head coach anywhere?
Well, let's see. Thinking back to his Ole Miss days, I don't believe no, because Ole Miss hasn't made it to the SEC title game since like the '60s. So never, never. I'm gonna guess never. Yeah.
It's time. It's time to let him go. You let go of Gus to elevate. We're making backwards movements. Come on, come on.
We need to do a whole episode on the timeline of Auburn football over the last decade and just see where the heck it went so wrong.
Are you
'Cause
trying
it
to
just
like? That would be the
it,
worst episode I've ever been a
it's
part of. I'll tell you that
it
right now.
needs to be studied.
I'll tell you
Who
where it went
let
wrong.
who let this happen? It was the moment you hired Brian
It
Harsin.
was the moment you hired
That's
Brian
what
Harsin.
happened.
Yep, you're right. That is
Yeah,
exactly what happened. That
I
is
can't believe
exactly
they did
what
that.
happened. Yeah,
Can't believe that.
hey,
And you know who it was between when they hired Brian Harsin? Kevin Steele and
yeah,
Brian
Kevin
Harsin.
Steele. I thought it was one more.
Matt Campbell, Iowa State. They try to hire him. I don't
Might
know.
have, might have.
Either way, that would have been the best hire.
There was another name there, but I'll tell
um,
you who was the wrong answer.
I think Kevin Steele would have been the wrong answer too, to be honest.
I don't believe in Kevin Steele as a head coach. He was an
No,
amazing
yeah,
defensive coordinator.
he's a good DC. I'm a fan of Kevin Steele. I would not have wanted him to be the head coach, especially at his age. Like, he's already retired. That
Yeah,
was 4 years ago. He's retired.
yeah.
So I don't think he would have retired as soon. But I mean, we'd be talking about when is Kevin Steele going to retire? Is assuming he'd still be there. Um,
I think that's
yeah,
I think this is just a growing occurrence of Auburn's main problem is timing. You know, okay, sure, you want to fire Gus. Let's fire Gus when there's no emerging head coach. When you have this true freshman stud quarterback named Bo Nix.
could have had Kalen DeBoer. He
Nah,
was right there.
eh,
You could have had him.
I could have,
Could have.
but it was a
Can
bad
we stop
time.
calling? Are they still calling him Husky Harson? Or is that kind of gone away?
I haven't heard it in a while, unfortunately.
That didn't work out too well.
No, he's proving me wrong. I can't. He's
Well, I
making me eat
hope he
my
keeps
words.
doing so.
Uh, I'm tired of Auburn. I think we're gonna get into the first preview of the week.